Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for bringing together this hearing. I think it's a perfect way to start the committee's work this year to really analyze the challenges we face, and I think you laid them out reasonably well. We have a group of adversaries that are coming together with the common purpose, basically, of reducing the influence of the U.S. in the world. There are certainly a lot of differences between Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, terrorist groups like Hamas and Hezbollah and ISIS, but the one thing they all share in common is they would like the U.S. to have less influence in their part of the world or the world in general. And they have found increasingly, as the chairman outlined, ways to work together, even within their differences, to try to accomplish that goal. And I think that's the frame we need to think about this in. We face that challenge from these adversaries because they want to push us out and reduce our influence. And the second part of the challenge, I think the chairman also laid out quite well, and that is how Department of Defense responds to that and how we get better at acquisition and procurement. It takes too long to purchase the systems that we need, because the other big way the world has changed is the rapid pace of changing warfare, and we've seen this in Ukraine. Drones, counter-drone technology, secure communications, disrupting those secure communications. It is a constant 3D chess game. If you're in a conflict, you need to update your systems constantly, quickly, and efficiently. The Pentagon is not built for that. Members of this committee who were on here before have heard me often, cite an article in Foreign Affairs from about, 6 months ago now that talked about how the Pentagon was built to be the 1950s Ford Motor Company. And that's great, but what they need to be is the 2022 Apple. Okay, an innovative technology company instead of a process-oriented company. Improving efficiency and effectiveness at the Pentagon is absolutely crucial. The chairman is right. More money alone isn't going to solve the problem. Whenever any group comes to me and asks for more money, which is just about every single day, by the way, my response is, what are you doing with the money you got? And if you can't answer that question, it doesn't really bode well for what you're going to do with any more. So it's really important that the Pentagon gets to a more efficient and effective place. And, the much talked about DOGE could be a positive in this regard. They could go into the Pentagon and make it more efficient and more effective. And I would urge members of this committee to make sure that they do that instead of engaging in personal loyalty tests, personal vengeance. That's not going to help anything. We've got work to do. And then when you look at what the U.S. response should be broadly to this, I have concerns, and I'm really interested to hear what the witness had to say about that we're still basically on the post-World War II mantra of we want to dominate. Okay? We have all these adversaries. We, the United States, have to be big enough, strong enough, and powerful enough, I guess, to bring them to heel. I don't consider that to be possible in the world we face right now. China is a pure competitor with us, unlike anything the Soviet Union had, because they got a strong economy. They're also building up their military, but their economy is strong. Plus, they've got the partners that we laid out. We're not going to be able to meet this alone. So the partnerships are going to be crucial. There has been much denigration of our allies recently. We're getting a bad deal on NATO. We're getting a bad deal on South Korea. There's a fundamental misunderstanding that the alliances that were built post-World War II were, yes, dependent on a disproportionate amount of U.S. military support, okay? But what isn't understood is we benefited from that more than any other country in the world. We have been the most powerful economy the world has ever seen for 80 years because of the stability that brought. Let us not toss those alliances aside because we think they're not doing enough for us. We have to figure out how to make those alliances work as we go forward. And we also have to have a principle, because there's another big part of this, what I like to refer to as the undecided vote. As we try to exercise our influence, Russia and China are also trying to spread theirs, the BRICS countries, their ability to try to create an economic alternative to the U.S. level of dominance. Their ability to succeed on that is going to be dependent upon countries like India and Brazil and South Africa and elsewhere. Are they going to align with them, or are they going to work with us? We have to understand their interests in doing that. And one key part of this is the notion that the U.S. believes in sovereignty. We don't believe that Russia should be able to take Ukraine. We don't believe that China should be able to grab territory from a half dozen different countries. So it is a problem when the President of the United States talks about taking Greenland and Panama and Gaza and the Canada one I still don't fully understand. But when you talk about that as well, it seems to say, hey, what's the American message? Might makes right. If you want it, go get it. That is not a message that's going to accrue to our benefit in the world. So I hope we will consider all of that as we try to figure out how to meet the two huge challenges. One, a world in many places that is uniting against us, and a Pentagon that is not up to where it needs to be to build the equipment we need at the scale and pace that is necessary to put us in the best position to meet our defense interests. With that, I look forward to the witness testimony and to the questions. Thank you. I yield back.